Hello viewers, my name is Chase Clover and this is my review on the October 29th, 2014 edition, the October 22nd, 2014 edition of USW Wednesday Night Intensity. This is Intensity number 93. This Intensity featured 5 matches on the card. I guess some were interesting, some were not, some were just kind of advancements in the storylines. That will be built up towards Bulletproof 7 in 6 weeks. And they featured some, I guess, key portions of the storyline going into Bulletproof, because, even though you have a storyline that you've had for a while, you still need to have a reason why they are fighting. And if they fought for numerous times and way more, even if the rivalry is great and the fans even think that they fought way too much, then it's just not needed or not necessary. So there are some matches that I wanted to talk about on this Intensity review. I know these reviews have been getting a lot less, a lot shorter than my usual reviews from maybe a few months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. So I'm going to try to make this one long, because there are some people that like long videos and some people that don't. Well, the people that like long videos, you're in luck. There were 5 matches on the card. There were 6 things that I wanted to talk to you about in the review. Especially considering I will not be able to get to these in my preview for Bulletproof 7. Well, I will be, but it's just too far away. I want to touch on them beforehand, especially considering I'll probably forget by the time that Bulletproof 7 runs around. So, we'll start off with the first match on the card, which was Mojigato with Western Light in his corner, defeating Gringo with Fernandez in his corner. Now, this is something that I wanted to talk about, which was Fernandez and Mojigato's last match. It's possible, and it's been rumored, that they will have one more match at Bulletproof 7, and this will decide the rivalry. They talked about how there was rumored a stipulation that was going to enter the match, but the stipulation has not really been talked about too often. It's just been mentioned a few times. Now, they fought for a few months, and yes, they have great chemistry, and yes, they work very well together, and I appreciate that from them, because they put on a good show and a good match when it comes time for the pay-per-views. But it's getting to the point where this, much like many other rivalries, are just getting too long. They've been stretched out too long, and it's kind of like with a lot of fans in the WWE, with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Their rivalry has been going on for a while, and they're not getting sick of it, because those guys actually make it interesting. But with USW, it's kind of like they are on a tight schedule, and they have one show a week, so they can't advance it nearly as much as they can. So they have to fit as much as they can in with a bunch of different other placements, so you don't get too many storyline advances in many different unique ways. And you don't have many unique characters. And I mean unique as in, like, ratings draw in unique. But yes, Mojigato and Fernandez have great chemistry. They work very well together. Don't get me wrong. It's just this rivalry, much like the Ash and Anarchy rivalry, are just stretching out too long without any real advancements, changes, or pretty much mixes. I mean, it's just been Anarchy and Ash since, June, maybe? And that's a long time. It's been over 4 months. So, and this rivalry has been stretching out since before June, back in March. So that's 7 months long, and that's a long rivalry. Yes, you had a break in between, but it's just, this rivalry, just like the Mojigato and Fernandez rivalry, much like the Anarchy and Ash rivalry, Mojigato and Fernandez, it's just getting lackluster, and USW isn't really giving them a chance to develop their wrestling ability and their characters. No, don't get me wrong, their characters are working very well together. They are doing very well. This is one of the best rivalries you have right now, and this is for the, I guess, what is considered now the lowest standard singles championship in the promotion. And they are making it one of the greatest rivalries in the promotion today. It's just the fact that fans will start to lose interest because they've seen it one too many times. So just shift it up, and I think it's a good idea to have one more match, and that's been rumored to happen at Bulletproof 7, so we may get one more match at the next pay-per-view, which will be great. And if there's a stipulation, that just makes it better. It's improving the last match, and it makes it even more special. The challenge then afterwards would be finding something for Machigata and Western Light to do, and for something for Fernandez and Gringo to do. So, and also you have to base it on whether or not they're going to win the International Championship at that pay-per-view. Machigata won it this past Sunday, and so he is the current champion. So we're getting, we're hopefully going to be getting a change in this rivalry, and, you know, how these guys go their separate ways, maybe meet up again in the future, but not right now. It's been going on for one too much, whatever. Anyway, Machigata defeats Gringo in that match. The second match on the night was Anarchy with Titanfall in his corner, defeating Crimson Red with Ash in his corner. Something else I wanted to get to was Ash and Anarchy, once again, too long. They've been stretching for over 7 months now. There's no advancements that have been made. Yes, they are great working together, but, you know, it's just getting lackluster. Unlike Machigata and Fernandez, they are not putting on great matches. Machigata and Fernandez are. They are putting on matches that are interesting. Ash and Anarchy have run out of things to make their matches interesting. It's pretty much just like a simple standard match, except with a stipulation and, well, a championship on the line. And that's pretty much what's separating them. That's what's between them. And that's not good. And last Wednesday night, which I'm probably going to refer to as tonight in this review, last Wednesday night, Anarchy fought Crimson Red, but they still had the challenges for the opposing championships in the other's corner. And it's just like, you know what, if they're going to have one versus the other, then you might as well not have the others involved in the match, because then you know the others are going to get involved, and we're going to go into a brawl, which is exactly what happened after the match, which ended up becoming Ash and Titanfall victorious, which were the managers on opposing sides. So, I mean, it's getting boring now, seeing Anarchy and Ash, and it's getting confusing with them trying to work the Extreme Championship and the Blue Belt Championship into each other. It's like they don't have enough time on the show to adjust both separately, so they need to find a way to advance the feud for the Blue Belt Championship and the Extreme Championship with each other. So it's not really working for me. It's getting very confusing, and I can tell that for a lot of fans it's getting very confusing seeing this mix-up, which really shouldn't even be happening. So it's kind of like, it's pointless to do that, and if you're gonna do something like that, then you're gonna lose fans, in that perspective, because fans will start getting a lot less interested because it's going to be a lot more confusing. They're going to have to take a lot more aspirin to get rid of their headache just by watching your product. And it's sad where they're kind of putting this rivalry and these rivalries, because when it's confusing, fans often get less interested. And the Extreme Championship picture is a new picture, unlike the Blue Belt Championship. You're having a new change. Crimson Red's still there, but you got a new guy, Titanfall, who's doing very well in his position. And with them working the Extreme Championship rivalry into the Blue Belt Championship rivalry to advance both storylines at once and save time and save a spot on the show, it's making the fans less interested in the Extreme Championship picture, which is bad, because the Extreme Championship picture, much like the Machigata and Fernandez, championship picture, are one of the best storylines you've got going right now. And this storyline is relatively new, so it can last for the rest of the year, the remainder of the year, at least, and maybe to the beginning of 2015. So, I suggest try to cut down on one more rivalry on the card that will be on Full Bulletproof, and next Wednesday you should have these these two Extreme Championship pictures go up against somebody else, or do something else that does not involve the Blue Belt Championship, and the same goes to the Blue Belt Championship not involving the Extreme Championship, because then you're going to lose interest, and you're already losing interest in your Blue Belt Championship picture. You don't want that to happen in your Extreme Championship picture. I cannot stress that to you enough. So, off of that topic, now we go into the third match on the card, which was a triple threat number one contenders match for the Unified USW Tag Team Championships. TJ and Wilbur versus CED and ED versus Chain Reaction and Indigo Child. Chain Reaction and Indigo Child defeat TJ and Wilbur along with CED and ED. Something that I wanted to talk about, well, there were two things involving these two that I wanted to talk about. First was Benny Franklin and Ezra Hill's possible opponents. We've already gotten that it's Chain Reaction and Indigo Child, but I don't see how they're going to be able to defend the championships with Ezra Hill's facing Zach Hardy or Enigma for the USW Championship. And I just spoiled the match for later on tonight. Not going to spoil it anymore. I'll have you guys wait till it comes up. But Chain Reaction and Indigo Child win the right to face Benny Franklin and Ezra Hills for the Tag Team Championships. Now, the next pay-per-view you can do it at is Bulletproof 7, and Ezra Hills is already booked for that pay-per-view. So unless you want to do some kind of double booking, then it's going to be hard to fit those matches in. Maybe what you can do is have the match go on, and Ezra Hills and Benny Franklin, if they end up winning, then that would bring more. That would be meant for more momentum going into the pay-per-view. And if they lose, then Ezra Hills has to battle back and rebattle and regain the strength to face Zach Hardy and beat Zach Hardy and step up to a new page in his career, something along those lines. But that's the only way you'll be able to work these four in. Especially considering now what happens with Canon and Prophecy. Nothing. There's nothing that Canon nor Prophecy will be able to do in this, I guess, rivalry anymore. I mean, Canon and Prophecy now have lost the chance to face these guys for the championship, and so now we gotta see how Canon's gonna break up the group, or Prophecy will break up the group, because I know that it's going to happen at Bulletproof. It's probably gonna be Canon, but it could be Prophecy, but that group is gonna break up, because it's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, and they've been there for a while. They're not really I guess, promoted tag team. They're kind of just like two individuals teaming up together. They're not really a tag team force, so they're able to be broken up easier than a tag team force. So that's probably going to happen at the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, and then they're going to have a match at Aftershock, which will be the last pay-per-view of the year. But off that subject, now considering it's getting confusing with Hills and Franklin, let's get into the TJ and Wilbur thing that I want to talk about. TJ and Wilbur are now becoming irrelevant. It's kind of like becoming that they are. It's just they're fading away. It's like they're not doing anything important. They are on an intensity from occasionally, and they're on a pay-per-view from here and there. Maybe skip this one and then go to this one, then skip that one and go to the next one. It's kind of like they're skipping steps, and while they're skipping steps, they're kind of losing relevance. And I don't even know if they've really been relevant in their career as a tag team. But they're becoming irrelevant very fast and very quickly, and they're already irrelevant. They've just got to get back into that picture. They've got to try to get back into that championship picture, because that's what's going to help them stay relevant, especially if they were to win the championships. Because if they were to win the championships, then they'd be very relevant. So, and they haven't really, in my eyes, they haven't been relevant at all. So, that's just, when they first started, they weren't relevant, so they were on that brink of becoming irrelevant. They were already at the back. And I don't know, they haven't really gained relevance, so that means they've kind of lost it. Even though they haven't gained it, they have lost it. So they have become irrelevant. It's kind of that struggle to get them relevant again, and they are two great individuals, and they're two great individuals as a tag team. So which means they are a great tag team. I'm not going to take anything away from them in that perspective. But here's the thing, with these two, you never know what they can do. They might disappoint one week and then have an okay match, then disappoint again, and then have a great match. And it's kind of like a rocky road. And I guess that'd be interesting for the tag team picture, the tag team championship picture. But then again, these two have to find this stride. They have to find a way to gain relevance again in order to get back to that championship picture, because if they don't gain relevance, then they're not going to get in that championship picture. So, they got the shot last Wednesday. They did not make the most of it. They've got to hope that they can get a second chance and make the most of it then. So that's all I'm going to say. Chain Reaction, Indigo Child versus Benny Franklin and Ezra and Kills at some point. I don't know whether it's at Bulletproof, and they're going to have a double moniker, or if it's going to be on in intensity. I don't know. I have no clue. So, yeah. Now we're going to get into the next match, and I guess I'll talk a little bit about it, because it's just... Sorry, hold on. Whatever. Anyway, it's kind of becoming... I don't know what to say. It's becoming just annoying. It's not interesting anymore. It's just annoying. And it's Dwayne Porter and Switchblade against Dustin Raymond and Blade. Dwayne Porter beat Dustin Raymond, and that's it. I don't like this rivalry. I have never liked this rivalry. It's been uninteresting, and it's been a ruin for Dwayne Porter and Dustin Raymond. This could be one of the reasons why Dustin Raymond is rumored to not want to sign another contract. I guess he wants to make a little bit more money in the year because he's planning on getting married, which is been spoiled this past weekend. So he's trying to make a little bit more money to help raise his new family, or the new step in his life, which is probably why he signed another contract. If he wasn't getting married, then he probably would not be in USW today, because his contract would have expired, so he would no longer be here. And sadly, that would have been, something that would have been good for some people, because they do not like this rivalry. So if Raymond had left, then this rivalry would leave as well. But no, USW is deciding to keep Dustin Raymond in the position that he does not want to be in, with their possibly last year having him. So, yippee for USW and their terrible booking. Dustin Raymond deserves better, so does Dwayne Porter. And Switchblade and Blade, I don't know why the hell they broke up as a tag team. They were the best tag team in USW at some point, and they were the best tag team in USW at the point that they broke up. And it's just getting annoying, and can they just please become a tag team again and let Dwayne Porter and Dustin Raymond do whatever they have to do. The Blue Belt Championship picture can use some fresh hands, which could be filled and should be filled by Dwayne Porter and Dustin Raymond. The Extreme Championship picture, you can help somewhat, in a few, maybe a month or two, you can have them go into the Extreme Championship picture, I guess, and freshen up that. And but the Blue Belt Championship needs the help right now. But it's just a waste of their character. It's not worth it to have these two go out and then compete against each other with two former tag team partners that have gone into trying to rebuild themselves, even though they were the biggest thing going in the tag team division. So I'm not going to talk much more about this until Dwayne Porter and Dustin Raymond go off and say, what, fuck it, we've had enough, we're doing our own thing now, we don't like this, and I can tell they don't like this. So it's, until they break these two teams, I'm not even going to call them tag teams, because that's not really, they don't really do much except fuck up everybody's matches, or each other's matches. So it's just, until they go and do their own thing, then I'll start talking about them again. But until then, I'll only mention their match, say who won, say that I don't like the match, and then move on, which is what I'm going to do now. Sixth match on the card was the main event match, and it was winner gets to choose the championship they want to face for at USW Bulletproof 7. Ezra and Kills defeated DHIG with the help of Benny Franklin, and Ezra and Kills did choose to face Zach Hardy for the USW Championship, which means at Bulletproof 7, DHIG will face Capital for the USW World Heavyweight Championship, and Ezra and Kills with Benny Franklin in his corner, and that will be a key factor in that match, will face Enigma for the USW Championship. Here's some problems with this pairing up, I guess, of these two matches. DHIG and Capital, two strong-suited powerhouses, and I'll get much more into this in the preview, believe me. Capital and DHIG, two strong powerhouses, battling for the second-best championship in the business, and Zach Hardy, who will have to overcome the obstacle of having to face a good guy, a good performer, and having to also constantly look behind his back to see if that guy's partner is going to fuck up his match and cost him the championship. So that's going to be a big factor in that match, and so I'm looking forward on seeing what happens at Bulletproof 7. I guess it was a good way to end the night. Both Enigma and Capital got the night off. Enigma and Capital have been getting time off a lot more. I guess it's because they're rising up in fame. Even Zach Hardy, even Enigma, even though he's much more in fame with USW, he's still rising and finding a way to rise. So these guys deserve the time off that they have. They've been champion for a long time. They've held the championships for a long time. So yeah, what else can I say? They are deserving of the time off. So yeah, that's pretty much. And it was a good way to end Intensity. Benny Franklin and Ezra Hills holding their hands above the air, not each other's hands, but they both held their own hands in the air and pointed at the entrance ramp, kind of, I guess, pointing at an imaginary Enigma. And by Enigma, I mean Zach Hardy's character, Enigma. And that was pretty much that way to end the match. I don't know what they're going to do with Ezra Hills and Benny Franklin when it comes to the tag team championships and the singles championship, but we'll just find out more about this while we go on, and as, Intensity goes on, and as we grow closer to Bulletproof 7. So guys, thank you for watching. That was my longer version of the October 22nd, 2014 edition of USW Wednesday Night Intensity number 93. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I am Chase Clover, signing off.